In the Know, a radio program talking to the newsmakers in Ogle, Lee, DeKalb counties and beyond, keeping you in the know. Here's your host, Charles Van Horn.
Good morning and happy Sunday. It's another edition of In the Know. Always busy times in Rochelle. We're in the middle of summer, but the work never stops. Rochelle Mayor John Bearrows, good morning.
Good morning.
Summer plans, summer vacations. Did you go anywhere so far this summer?
No, not really. We've taken a few weekend trips, but really haven't been away on an actual vacation yet.
Well, you need to get out of town. A lot of things been going on. Of course, city government always moves forward. A lot of discussions on the old Hickory Grove property. The city worked really hard to get that property cleared and ready for development. And now there's some hurdles there because with the reconfiguration of Illinois Route 251, IDOT obviously needs a place for water to go so we don't have any flooding once they reconfigure that. And working with IDOT has opened up some opportunities there on the Hickory Grove parcel.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that came before us, this has been several months ago, but they wanted to utilize part of that property that we have for retention area for water issues, as you say. One of the issues we had early on was there was a couple mix-ups in the dividing or in the property lines of that property. So we've been working on getting those cleared up. There were a couple parking spots on our property that belonged to the hotel, and the hotel wanted some property in the back. So they finally got that all worked out. And now this past Monday night, they came with a proposal for the retention area, which they had talked about that with us probably been a month and a half ago. And last night they came back, or Monday night they came back with the final proposal, and looks really good. My concern is the maintenance, obviously, of it, and we have to respect the neighbors in that area, and we have ordinances about keeping grass trimmed and at a certain height, and we as a city have to adhere to our own codes. So my concern is what's the process for maintenance on that item. And there's several options for that that we talked about Monday night is the potentially if someone develops the front part of it, we could, they'll already have the retention area. The pond, retention pond is calculated to be able to handle not only the 251 area, but whatever development and hard surface goes in the front of it. So they wouldn't need additional compensatory storage. So that's a good thing.
And the front area, that's sort of the exciting business of this is when this is all said and done, it will be suitable for development. Now, we have nobody on the hook for purchasing that building, developing it right now. Obviously, you got feelers out looking for somebody. But the concept drawing showed room for a retail establishment or even a restaurant there. On that lot, which would be great for Rochelle to bring any new business into town.
Absolutely. We're always excited about bringing new business, and, that was the whole purpose of this project when we started way, way, way back when I first became mayor. We thought if we get this property, because the Hickory Grove Civic Center was owned by the Ogle County OCA Board, and they paid no taxes on it. So our theory was when the building was in such disrepair that it was beyond fixing, we thought, okay, maybe if we get this building back, we get the site cleared and get it back into the hands of public entity and start creating real estate tax on it. Well, then IDOT thing came along and they needed more compensatory storage for the floodwater. So that's how this thing all kind of transpired. So to a degree, it'll be good. Half of it will go back into public ownership, and then the other half would be the detention area, which is going to help a lot of residents in Rochelle because, when you start overloading those storm sewer systems, it can affect people clear over on the east side of town if your system gets overloaded. So, I think it's a smart move. It's, everything happens for a reason. We didn't anticipate this when this all started, but now we're kind of massaging and finalizing the plan, and this is what comes about.
Unfortunately, the timeline on this, though, isn't speedy. If there's one thing we've learned from the state of Illinois, efficiency and promptness isn't really in the cards. Another couple of years before they start reconfiguring 251.
Yeah, the IDOT representative that was there Monday night was, I think he actually pinpointed a date of 2 years, 18 months to 2 years before they start. But, if that's the case, great. It's absolutely, as I said Monday night, it's the worst road we have in our town, and it's not ours to take care of. We can patch holes, but we don't get paid to patch holes from the state. It's a state road, but we do it to try and maintain as best we can. But it's going to be good to get that done. That's a gateway to our community coming in from the north, and in fact all the way through down past the 10th Avenue. Is the road is pretty rough in there, and of course to the north for sure, all the way to Flag Road is a rough road.
Yeah, a lot of hubcaps and dental fillings shook loose, that's for sure. Diverging Diamond project, the interchange between I-39 and Illinois 38 there. They're moving some dirt already.
Yeah, they're moving dirt. We just, Monday night, we authorized the bid for the underground boring for traffic lights and fiber and all that stuff to get that moved back so that project can move forward. That project is, I think that project's 2.5 years from start to finish. And probably 2.5 years to learn how to do it. But, they're definitely moving forward. I really wish that the energy spent on that double diamond could have been spent on 251 North. I think we need it much more. However, we were informed that that's a separate pot of money, so that's why it's started and the 251 hasn't. But, at any rate, it'll be nice when it's done, I guess.
I'll sneak over there during the night while they're working on it and steal some rebar and a couple of cement trucks and see what happens.
There you go.
Help things out. Lots of events happening this summer. Of course, construction moved one event, as we talk about, going from roads to city infrastructure because of the work going on downtown and some of the parking lot work and things like that. The Lincoln Highway Heritage Festival moved to a park this year.
Yeah. Last year, right after the Heritage Festival last year, we met with them because our plans were on the drawing board for the band shell and restrooms and burying all the wires in the 400 block, in the middle of the 400 block of Lincoln Highway. In the alley behind that. And so we met with them and said, hey, we don't think we're going to be done with that by the time of Heritage Festival. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you look at it, the work is just now going to begin on burying all the power lines. We had to go out for bids and all that stuff. Stuff all takes time. And, we knew that it would not be conducive to having an event down there, a lot of open ditches, a lot of construction going on. So they did move it out to Atwood Park. We're very happy to see that, there was talk at one point last year, do we cancel it for a year? Do we skip it? And I'm just happy to see that they didn't do that. And my hat's off to that Lincoln Highway Heritage Festival Committee. That's a small committee and relatively small, and they really bust their tail to make this a fun event for the whole community. And I will say also, I do know that they would love to have more volunteers on that committee. And so if somebody's looking to volunteer some time and help out with a great event, Lincoln Highway Heritage Festival Committee would love to have some help.
So instead of going to Facebook to complain about a community event, how about you log your behind over to volunteer and help out?
There you go. If you want to make a difference, the best way to do is get on board and be a part of the solution versus the problem.
Real quick, to stay in the downtown area, Pocket Park. How is that coming along?
Coming along. It's going to be, they say it's going to be done by, I think, mid-September, I think.
Wow.
Mid to the end of September. Community development did a great job, and actually community development is going to oversee that whole project. So, we're excited about that. Clean up another area. That was a pretty tough building that was actually a dangerous spot that if we would have had a direct straight line winds, it could have gone down.
Yeah.
And so we got that cleaned up and really moving along, and it's going to be nice.
Will that have a spot for a food truck in it, is my understanding?
I believe that was the final plan. There's in the northwest corner, I believe, there's a spot or a cement pad I think there was going to be for a food truck, if that hasn't been changed. I haven't seen the most recent one, but that originally that was a concept of That's what it would be.
A neat way to bring other folks into town. Of course, still like to support the brick and mortars. Plenty of those in town. They have their shingle out, and of course, part of the great Rochelle community. You got a new event you're helping out with. Going to be happening at the airport on the 10th.
Yeah, we started this idea, came out of the destination committee that I formed about, 6-8 months ago. Eric Petrie was on that committee, and he said, I really miss seeing the fly-in drive-in. And so after some discussion, we decided let's just go for it. So we picked a date, August 10th, and I got to tell you, when we started talking about this, August 10th seemed like a lifetime away, and now we're 2 weeks, 3 weeks away from the event. It's crazy how fast the time flies, but we're going to have a lot of great things out there. We've got an old T-28 warplane that's going to come in. When he comes in that morning, he's going to do a flyover.
Wow.
He'll also do a flyover when he leaves. We're going to have trike rides. We're going to have pedal planes for the kids. We're going to have bounce houses, all kinds of food from flight deck, from food trucks. There's going to be band Highway 38 Unplugged, I think is the correct name. They're going to be playing.
And exotic cars.
We're going to have a car show that's going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, because I understand there's something special might be rolling in.
Mum's the word at this point, but come on out the day of the event.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. When they say no touch, they mean no touch.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep your grubby little fingerprints off this car that rolls in, because it's worth more than you, me, and you combined.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a great event. Again, the date on that and the time?
August 10th from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. That's a Sunday, August 10th. And I will clarify one rumor that's been flying around that the mayor is going to jump out of a plane and skydive in. That is not going to happen this year.
Yeah.
So just to squinch any rumors that might be going. If you're expecting to see me jump out of a plane, it won't happen this year.
I did see the little video you guys put together. You seemed pretty familiar with aircraft, though, getting in and out.
Yeah, it was.
Seemed to know where the handholds were.
It was very cool. Ben Doherty did that video for us, and he just did an amazing job. The way he put it together, and it's kind of fun to see how we did all these little clips, and then he just kind of puts it together, and it's like, now I understand why it takes so long to make a nice video clip of whatever you're doing. But Ben did a really nice job. I'd publicly thank him for that. It's helping us with the marketing of that event.
And then we roll into autumn. Obviously, a lot of road construction projects continue until the weather calls them quits. The power line project downtown, what's the deadline on that? When do you think that's going to be done?
They're going to start here fairly soon. So, I would hope that we have most of our underground work done, I would hope, by the time winter hits. As we look forward, it's hard to believe the kids will be back in school in a couple of weeks. As I always say, now that the kids are back in school, we have to be extra careful here and everywhere. Kids are going to be riding bikes to school, walking to school. Just take a little extra caution when you're driving in those areas, and it's easy to kind of become non-complacent and you go through your daily routine. But we're going to have some extra people out on bikes and walking and such. So just take care of our kids in this area. Is that's our most prized possession. So we have to take care of them. Pay attention to the 20 mile an hour in the school zones.
Yeah,
it's not hard to do.
And when the big yellow boxes put their little stop arm out, that means stop. That means you.
Stop means stop. And, you just have to, we all become kind of in our routines, but it'll change here in the next couple of weeks when the school buses and the kids start rolling around. And so just take a little extra caution.
And respect your crossing guard.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Those are hardworking folks right there, because, you think early in the season, it's not bad, 73 and sunny, they're out there waving to the kids, that's a fun time. But they're also out there when it's 21 degrees and blowing sideways snow. They're still standing out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you make a good point. Our hats off to all of our crossing guards, because they protect all those areas all completely around the schools. And you're right, they're there every day. They're kind of like the mail carriers, a little more prompt. But
except they don't carry the bills.
But no, they do a great job, and we're thankful for that. But just please be careful when you're driving in school zones.
Rochelle Mayor John Bearrows. Thank you so much for joining us today. Look forward to seeing you at all the area events this summer. You'll be there at the fly-in, drive-in all day?
All day.
All day? And except for the time when you're jumping out of an airplane?
Well, and don't forget, we have the Little Miss Peanut contest the week before.
Oh, that's true.
And we really want to have, the committee wants to make sure that we get all the prior Little Miss Peanuts that we can to show up and be announced. And some of them are well in their 40s now that were the early Little Miss Peanuts. So it's a pretty cool event. Thank Rotary thank Kiwanis for bringing that event back. They started Rick Taylor when he was president, and they brought that event back, and it's been a great event. I really enjoyed it. I'll be one of the judges this year. I'm not cheap, but I can be had if you're trying to buy votes.
Well, at least get you a good deal on a hot dog, chips, and a pop. Mayor John Bearrows, thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to this week's In the Know. The program returns next week at this time with another great conversation with someone from your community.